Hello, defenders. Remember, I said there's one list every hacker, pen tester, and developer needs memorized. That was the OWASP top 10. And I said I'm going to be going through all the 10 categories and showing you a live example of each one of them right here inside the juice shop. So, a quick disclaimer before we start. Everything you're about to see runs in a locally intentionally vulnerable app called OWASP Juice Shop, and never run any of these against a site you don't own or don't have written permission to test. So at first, here we have on my screen, as you can see, we have OWASP top 10 web application security risks. And the most current released version is in 2025, and we have the previous versions are available on GitHub. So the OWASP top 10 is a standard awareness document for developers and web application security. So it represents a broad consensus about the most critical security risks to web applications. And globally, it's recognized by developers as the first step towards more secure coding. So before I actually show you how to run OWASP Juice Shop and go through all these vulnerabilities. So first, OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Project. So every few years they publish a ranked list of the most critical risks to web applications based on real data from thousands of companies. And if you've ever seen a pen test report or a bug bounty scope or a security interview question, this list is where most of it comes from. So first, I need you to ensure that you have Docker installed on your Linux machine, because that's where we're going to be running OWASP Juice Shop from. So if you don't have Docker already installed, I'm going to be showing you a quick overview of how you can get it all up and running. So on the official Kali Linux page, we have Docker here. So installing Docker on Kali. So simply do the sudo update and then install the Docker IO. Then you have to enable Docker using this command over here, and then Docker see if it's actually installed. And then next, you can get started using Docker with sudo. But if you want to avoid using sudo, just add your current user into the sudo file. Add yourself into the Docker group so that you don't have to use sudo when wanting to use Docker. So an additional step is needed. So the final thing is to log out and in again. And that's how you get Docker on your machine. First, so with that, well, I'll also provide a short video how you can do this quick and easier. So first, let's move into our Docker Juice Shop. First, move into a terminal. So as you can see on my terminal here. So first, check for Docker, it's installed -version. So there we go. We have our Docker running. Well, we have our Docker already installed. So we have to now power up Docker. So sudo systemctl start Docker. Yeah, so there we go. We have Docker already running. Now, what you're going to do now is run our Docker Juice Shop and access it through our local host. That's our local IP address from our machine, and with a port number that we've assigned to it. So this command here, I'll paste it in my description to run the Juice Shop. Copy it. So So here we have docker run-d-p, then the port that we're using, and the official docker, the official gshop. So let's hit enter on it. We have gshop running, and if I check my network interfaces, I'll see an additional interface added. So let's do IP and see. Wow. So I have Docker running and VBoxnet. This from VirtualBox that I'm running. Okay. So let's click on this and now move straight into our browser and open up our GShop. So let's do localhost 3000 here. So hit enter on it, and there we go. We have OWASP GShop open, and we have a short message here which is important to read. So I'm going to dismiss on it. So first, number one, OWASP Top 10 is a series of, remember I said I'm going to show you the 10 categories. So I have a series of episodes. Each episode has its own category in it, how to protect yourself from such an attack. So number one, I'll go with broken access control, because that's when the app lets you do something or something you shouldn't be allowed to do. Let's say something like viewing someone else's order just by changing a number in the URL. So in our OWASP juice shop, we're going to log in and open the network tab or the application tab, change our basket ID and see if are we going to be able to see another user's basket. So let's log in. So we first need to create an account. Since they do not need to send you a verification email, you can just use a dummy email. So we'll go with iankrm@gmail.com, and then the password I use 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and keep the same password. Questions here, so don't know, so register. Now let's log in. Yeah, so there, let's log in. So here we have all the products that we need now. But what we need to do is we need to see if you are actually going to be allowed to see another user's basket load without being there, without being logged in as them. So at first, let's try by adding some quick products into our own basket first. So let's add that and that. So we have two products inside our basket, and let's view and let's move into inspecting this. Let's check out our network tab and refresh this. So here we have a socket. So let's check here. We have if we have anything interesting to view. So here we have a cookie. So this let's move into the application section, the application tab. So here we have the session storage. So let's click on this. So here we have a BID. So we see we have our basket ID as 6. Let's try changing this to 1 and see if it actually works. And so let's refresh our page. Yeah, so remember we had 2 items inside our basket, but if you take a look at this here, it's saying your basket has 6 product. So meaning you are able to view another user's basket load, meaning, and that's a vulnerability in it. So, and then the next thing that we'll be looking at in OWASP top 10 is cryptographic failures. This is sensitive data, passwords, tokens, personal information being stored or transmitted without proper encryption. And then the third thing is injection. And that injection is when user inputs get treated as code instead of data. So let's say SQL injection is is the classic example of this. And here I have a VirtualBox with Metasploitable 2 from our last video that we used in the misconfigured network services. Yeah, so I'm going to open the DVWA of Metasploitable 2 and show you how we can we can do SQL injection in it. So first, let's head back into our terminal here. So we have Metasploitable 2 running right over here. So this is our Metasploitable 2 and the IP address is 56.101. So let's do an nmap scan of this. Give it time. Yes, so here we have this, and we have port, we have HTTP open here. So let's go ahead into our browser and type in this IP address. Let's see what we actually get. We have 192.168.58, no, .56. So here, so this is the DVWA login type, and let's see if SQL injection works. So in SQL injection, you're going to, let me say, one, then let's column or as well again. So one, or the single quote, one equals, and remember SQL injection is yeah, this and another one. So let's hit login on this. So it's a login failed. Well, that's a simple SQL injection code that might be used, and it's not safe. So just by typing it into the username field and submitting could bypass the login screen entirely. And we have all the other all the other remaining, that's the insecure design, where, I mean, this one different, it's it's not coding, it's not a coding bug, it's a flaw baked into the architecture itself, because, I mean, before a single line of code was written. Yes, and number 5, we have security misconfigurations. This is the default passwords, exposed admin panels, debug mode, left in on in production. And number 6, there is vulnerable and outdated components. Running a library with a known CVE, that's what it means. Vulnerable and outdated components. It's running a library with a known CVE because nobody updated it. Yeah, which is actually dangerous as well. So number 7, identification and authentication failures. What is this? This is weak session handling, no rate limiting on login attempts, predictable session tokens, which can be easily bypassed. So if we don't have rate limiting, that means I can hit a single login screen with the same username and different number of passwords, trying to penetrate into it from the same location or from the same IP address and still not get flagged, which is quite dangerous because if I exceed a specific number of login attempts, I'm supposed to be flagged. So leaving this as open is that's a red flag, meaning it's dangerous. And we also have software and data integrity failures. So this is trusting an update or a plugin without verifying if it has been tampered with. So we need to check into this as well. And number nine, which is the second last in the 10 categories, we have security login and monitoring failures. So let's say a breach happened and nobody noticed because nothing was being logged. Yeah, so that's dangerous. And the last one is server-side request forgery. This is the SSRF, server-side request forgery. This is tricking the server into making a request on the attacker's behalf. Yeah, so I'm the attacker, I'm communicating to the server and I'm telling the server to do something for me. I'm tricking the server into doing something for me and then it's going to give me the information that I need back. So that's tricking the server into making a request on the attacker's behalf. And so the 10 categories and one afternoon. Yeah. And over the next several episodes, we're taking each one of these 10 categories into deep with full walkthroughs, real payloads, and real fixes. And this is one by one in its own episode. And the next up is the security misconfiguration since I've covered the SQL injection already. Mm, well, I'm still going to redo the SQL injection. Yeah, so we have next up is the security misconfigurations, starting with default credentials that are still sitting wide open on real production servers today. So subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video.